How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I got a few things to do today. Number one, I had a visit from Thomas from Wither Hills Winery, and I got a few treats from him. And number two, I've got an update on the plan for equipment for Still It. Welcome to Still It, everyone. This is the channel all about chasing the craft of home distillation and making it a legitimate hobby. So if you dig that, if that's what floats your boat, have a look around and click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss anything. Alright team, is this a filler episode? Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit. I apologize, but basically the twins are pretty crook. They've got a real bad chest infection and they're in hospital right now, as is my wife, obviously. So things are a little bit nuts right now and I didn't have time to get a real episode out. In saying that, I am no less excited about the things that are in this episode, so check them out. Like I said, first up I had a visit from Thomas from Wither Hills. Wither Hills is a winery here in New Zealand, which also just happens to be one of my wife's favourite wineries ever. So Thomas saw the video I put out a while ago talking about bottles and what to do, and he thought maybe he could help out with some of the stuff that was laying around the winery, and it's pretty cool. Check this out. First up, some 500ml bottles, and I actually think those are pretty classy. The other cool thing is that these are the thick bottles that you can use for like sparkling wine and stuff, so they're real strong. I'm not entirely sure what to go with that, but I do like the idea of having some smaller bottles around, and they fit the corks that I bought for the other bottles, so that's pretty sweet. He also brought some little 375ml bottles. Unfortunately, the corks don't really fit in these bottles. They do, but it's not a great seal. So thanks a bunch to Thomas and Wither Hills for this, because I have wanted to have different sizes of bottles, and to be honest, the main reason that I want them is I tend to not drink that much that fast. I guess I'm one of those guys that drinks the first half of the bottle relatively quickly and then drinks it slower and slower the closer it gets to the bottom of the bottle. So what I want to be able to do is, rather than leaving spirits around in a half-empty bottle all the time so they just basically evaporate and go crappy. So what I'd like to be able to do is move that spirit into smaller bottles, just so it keeps better, basically. But that is not all that they brought. I got some wine too, which is pretty awesome. But before I tell you about that, I am going to pour myself a drink so I can try it. I am by no means a wine guy, so don't expect an intelligent tasting here. This is the Wither Hills 2001 Pinot Noir. Don't know how to describe it, but I can tell you it is freaking delicious. This is Thomas's personal project, I guess you would call it. Another Pinot Noir. Wow, they are both really good. I totally don't know which I would prefer. I think it's probably one of those questions you'd have to sit down and nurse a large glass for some time to really decide. And the last is another personal project of one of the other people from Wither Hills. It is a late harvest Sauv. Yes, kind of a dessert one, I guess. Oh well, that's good. Geez, those are all really good. Tasting these has kind of got me thinking, so while it's super cool that I get to taste these, I tend to drink a bottle of wine, forget about it, and that's the end of the story. I have been thinking though that it would be a good idea to soak some oak in these bottles and then be able to use this oak in a spirit. I kind of thought that would be a poetic way for this wine to live a little longer. Oh geez, I'm sure I'm doing more and more like crappy dad jokes all the time. Anyway, so that is 2 sticks of American white oak that has been charred, that has been toasted at 220 degrees for 3 hours in each bottle. Just to be clear, I'm not putting this stuff in the bottle to make the wine taste better, although it will be interesting to see what happens. What I really want to do is get those flavors into the oak so I can use it in a spirit later on. Honestly, I kind of forgotten how enjoyable a nice wine is sometimes. This might be a good time to tease my next project. And I have been threatening to do a proper all grain for a long time. I know that. And I've also kind of failed miserably at that. It's time to do it. And while I don't really want to let the cat out of the bag totally right now, I have been talking about this with the guys on Patreon, and they've been helping me sort of update the recipe a little bit. I will say that it's going to be an Irish whiskey, but maybe not exactly what you would expect. The next thing to talk about is new equipment for Stillet. That still served me really well. I love it, but if you're in any hobby like this, you know that eventually you just start getting itchy and you want some new equipment. It's just the way it goes. It always does. So what I want to do, guys, is I want to open the floor to you a little bit. I want to get your opinions on what I should look at getting next. And I don't have a huge budget, so while I would love to go out and get a brand new 4-inch, still not going to happen. But I would love to hear what you think that I could do in terms of upgrading this thing a little bit and giving myself some enjoyment and you guys enjoyment in watching what I can do with that piece of equipment. So have at it, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you reckon I should do. So ultimately what I will do is put a poll on Patreon, and the guys over there will decide and vote exactly what we do, but I would love to hear your comments now so I can decide what to put in that poll. Make sense? Alright team, like I said, things have been a little bit crazy lately, so I need to get going. I will try and make it up to you with an extra video sometime in the very near future. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. I really, really appreciate it. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, make sure you subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.